Hey, today we're going to talk about one of my absolute favorite things, color. So with color, we can't actually perceive color until you have one main thing, and that is light. Our perception of color depends not solely on the pigmentation of a physical surface, but also on the brightness and character of ambient light. So that's why colors can often change how they look depending on what the light is. They can look very different with soft light, dim light versus fully bright light. So I want you to imagine here that you're at a wedding and everyone's sitting down waiting for it to start. The music plays. The bridesmaids slowly walk down the aisle. The flower girl and the ring bearer come down the aisle, and then the doors close. And everyone waits for the bride to emerge. And then the doors open, and you see the bride. The bride is wearing a red wedding dress. What are your first impressions? Often in America, the United States, white is the symbol for weddings. They'll wear white or champagne, often means purity. But color changes meaning from culture to culture. Red is traditional in Eastern cultures like Japan and India for wedding dresses, which is very different, than the United States, where here it signals purity. Just like black in the United States is the color of death. But in Eastern cultures, that's the symbolism of health and prosperity. So it's very different. It changes meaning culture to culture. It also goes in and out of fashion. So an entire industry has emerged to guide and predict the course of color. Pantone makes a lot of money predicting what will be in style for next season. And here's the report they unveiled during the New York Fashion Week for autumn and winter of 2020. And they come out with a new report every year for every season. So you can often look online to see what it is that they're saying will be in style. And just to see if they are on course or not, what I had done when I had some free time in the fall of 2019 is I went and looked, and I went to Target. And this was actually in January, and I decided to walk through and look at the color trends. And in case you're wondering if any brands subscribe to Pantone's recommendations, look here. This was in the center, their autumn winter 2019-2020 color palette. And as you can see here in Target, a lot of their fashion are right on trend with those colors. Here's some more. Here's women's accessories, athletic wear. It's more clothing. You noticing any similarities? Even looking at home decor and paper products, there's definitely a common theme. So look online at what Pantone is predicting for next season's color forecast, or even for this season. And then you can go online or go through some stores and see if you notice any of those color trends emerging. So here, although color is a shifting phenomenon, it can be described and understood. So let's go back to some of those basics. In 1665, Sir Isaac Newton discovered that a prism separates light into the spectrum of colors. And here you've probably seen in other classes where we can use the color wheel to describe those relationships between colors. Analogous colors have related color temperatures. They're next to each other on the color wheel. Complementary colors are opposite. They contain no element of the other. So they have opposing color temperatures. You can see how, color affects visual energy and mood. We talk about CMYK versus RGB over on the left, and how CMYK uses pigment, and that's a subtractive color, where RGB is an additive color. It's created with light. Here's some different color relationships with analogous, where they're close to each other on the color wheel. We'll often see those in some logos. And the opposite with complementary colors. Here's some examples of those. There's different color models, like I had mentioned with CMYK and RGB. Whatever color model your software is using, if you're viewing it on a screen, it's in RGB. And if it's in print, it's more than likely CMYK or Pantone. So here is the color gamut, and if you can imagine like every color that you can see with the naked eye, that would be pretty much this huge round circle. Of course, we're viewing this on a screen, so it's going to be RGB, but imagine, immensely more colors that you can see. So here it shows what colors can be actually created using red, green, and blue light. And we can also see what color gamut, what can be created using cyan, magenta, and yellow, and black inks or pigments. And then Pantone spot colors, you can see that there are many colors that can be created there, some that RGB can't make. You can also do metallics and fluorescence with Pantone. Some different things with color. There's the principle of four-color process, or CMYK, which is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, where viewed from a distance, here with optical color mixing, the colors mix together optically. So if you kind of squint at this, or if you go further back, you can see where those colors mix optically. If you think of those digital billboards, a lot of times those are just single pixels of color and light, but because you're viewing it from a distance, they blend together. We also perceive color in relation to the other colors around it. Here, this red bar going through the center is the exact same color on the right as it is on the left. But with the colors around it, it definitely looks different. Same thing with this purple that's in the center. It looks a lot different on the left than it does the right. This is where when you're deciding on like logo colors or trying to put colors together, how it's a really difficult task. Colors and color psychology, coming back into that, it affects purchases. A lot of people, place emphasis on smell and sound, and definitely some things come into play if you're buying like body wash or candles. Smell might be a bigger factor, but a lot of times shoppers rely on their visual appearance and the color that it is. Just think if you're looking at different sweaters and they're all the exact same type of sweater, you're going to probably make the decision on which one to purchase based on its color. Here, color with industry, you'll often find that certain colors are associated with possibly certain genders. For kids, a lot of things are in blues and greens for boys. And just go down the toy aisle. When they're marketing to girls, you'll see lots of pinks and oranges and purples. Here I looked at greeting cards just to see what colors were for that. And if you notice, a lot of them geared toward females, like for daughters, granddaughters, grandma. There's definitely some colors that are used there that aren't used when trying to target the male audience. I don't know if you've ever been on Pinterest, but I absolutely love, love, love color. And one good way to try to figure out, how colors look together is to start some different boards. I have some color scheme boards that, just have some things that I might look for inspiration in the future. Or here, a lot of these photos, and they take the colors from those photos. And you can see, colors that look together and good pairings. So I, definitely encourage you to start some different color collections so that you'll be able to go to them once you have a project that you start. So have fun with color.